food is one thing that's a stereotype. They understand why Americans are so fat now. And we don't get it until we see them. They're like, look at the portions
that's true.
of all this shit. They're like, they're like, everyone was getting to-go bags. They're like, we're not used to eating this much. They go to a barbecue place. And I love going to barbecue places. But it's ridiculous what you get because you order a 3-meat plate and you got all this brisket and sausage and whatever. And it's like, okay, that's a lot of food. And then it's like, oh, it's all gone. But they're like, holy cow. And then the free refills on things. I remember I saw an Italian guy come out of a 7-Eleven or something with a cup like this big.
Oh, gosh.
And he's like, this is a medium. Hello, I'm Dan.
I'm Can.
And this is the Dan and Can podcast. Coming right back at you again. Welcome back to those that have been here for a while. You already have it turned on.
Oh, I forgot to turn it on before we started.
And for you newcomers, welcome. I hope you enjoy the ride. But you're going to be a little off today because you're in the final stage of this last series we're doing on you got to keep them separated. But before we get into all that and recap, go to YouTube. Hit that smash like and subscribe. We'd appreciate it greatly. And Candy appreciates it when I put it at the beginning of the videos. It gets her all excited and happy. Because I implement her ideas. Because she has good ideas all the time. Look at this. This is what validation looks like.
I was going to say something, but I'm withholding. Keep going. Keep going.
Do you have a comment for me?
No, I don't.
Do you want to share something with the world?
I don't, sir.
Anyways, smash it and all that good stuff. And then, if you give us 5 stars on any device you're listening to, it helps move us a lot. And if you want to reach out to us, give us videos or suggestions or topics or questions or anything, down below, description, dannycan.com. You can get a hold of us through that and check out everything we're doing on there too. So with that being said, we've spent a couple weeks in really lowering the mood, putting people and making them feel just in and off energy.
What are you talking about?
We're talking about separation and fear. So 2 weeks ago, we were talking about separating and how it seems like that these powers that be want to keep pulling us apart, whether it be political or religion or anything like that.
Anything that wants power over you to control. Yeah.
That they're constantly pitting us versus them mentality. Mm-hmm. So in politics, it's, the Democrats and, then
you mean the Democrats?
The Democrats and, the Republicans and they're doing this and that and all this. So got something. Must be something in the air today. Getting a little choked up. I'm so upset about this. But they keep separating us and these people are evil and they push it out. And it's really evident in the church and religion where, you think about when we were in evangelicalism was like anything outside of our little protective bubble of Christianity is dangerous.
Well, I remember being taught there was only 2 types of people in the world. They were believers and unbelievers, and that was it.
Yeah.
Unbelievers were going to hell, believers were going to heaven.
Yeah.
And then you had to figure out what you had to believe. Sheep go to heaven.
Goats
go to hell.
Go to hell.
I was kind of in a mood the other day, and then we turned on the car and tried to song that song. I was like,
it works. So, but they have this separation, and in that it's outside of this. And you think of like when people talk about cults, cult experts, they're like, the cult keeps you inside there and says that danger's outside because those are opposing views. And honestly, what it is, it's views that'll make you think and pull you away from the system that they have you tied into, that you believe is the absolute truth and everything. So help me God. And I need my Bible. I have it on my phone, so
Do you have a Bible on your phone?
I used to.
I used to too.
Yeah, it's probably one of the first things I deleted.
Wow. No. Delete.
See ya. But a cult has that mentality of don't go outside because those people are actively trying to pull you away and mislead you and take you away from the truth. And in political parties, it's like, yeah, don't associate with these. They're evil people. They want to go out and, I mean,
They
obviously
create
we're
quite the
biased,
image.
so our views and explanations, examples are going to be biased, but they're going to be out there trying to kill babies and
Well, let's try to remember when we were Christians,
yeah.
That's how we viewed, that's what we were taught to view people as. And now, how would you say we're taught to view like even people in the Christian church? Because it still happens. It just goes the other way, right?
And I get called on this all the time because no matter a video I post, if any Christian responds, sometimes it's, well, that's not me. I don't do that.
I'm not that type. My church doesn't do that.
My church or something like that. And it's like, okay, yeah, I'm talking in generalizations about the system as a whole, not the people. And that's a good point because we're going to expose that today with the videos we watch on what this actually looks like in the real world when the truths get exposed. So it seems like, and I think a lot of it's because that's the mentality they have. It's like anything against me or not believing like me is against me. So when I say something against it, it's like, well, then you're automatically against you. And it's like, I honestly, deep down, care less what you worship, how you practice your faith. And you're the same way. If you want to believe in Jesus, believe in Jesus. Just don't try to force it on everyone.
Yeah, don't make laws. Don't push for laws to be made because you think your way is the right way and the only way. And it's hard with evangelicals. I mean, I can only say it from that point of view because I know there's lots of flavors of Christianity because they will point to the scripture that says, but Jesus says, I am the way. And how they take that verse too is like, I'm the only way.
Yeah.
I'm the only truth there is. I'm the only, and I personally do not think if he said that, which I'll say he said it, like that's what I believe right now, that my mind could be changed. But also, I don't think that's what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? He's using those words, but I don't think he means I am the only one. I think he was referring to something much more where we think now, like just like I am is the way, like recognize your I amness in a way. But yeah, so Christians will say that and they're like, well, I have to, Jesus is the only way because he said he's the only way. But there's a lot of people that have said they're the way to heaven or they're the way to the truth, and it can be it can manipulate you. Yeah. And I don't think that's what he was doing, but I think it's been twisted into that for sure.
So, yeah, definitely. Where it's twisted and worked, and that's all religion is. It's manipulation of these sacred scriptures to fit the ideology that we want to put out in the world. That's going to benefit the system in the long run. So we're not against people. You believe what you want. Don't force it on other people. If you want to go out on a street corner and preach, go ahead. But just understand you have that right to do that, but it doesn't mean you have the right for people to listen to you. People can, or the people to agree with you. So don't get offended if people disagree with you or call
think
you
you're
out.
Weird because you're doing that too. And I mean, I get that. I get you have your freedoms to stand in some place and do that, but it's really difficult to like be okay with that. Like say you're trapped in like an airport or something and someone stands up and grabs the attention of everyone. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, then that's different.
Because they're not caring about other people's freedom.
I'm talking an actual true public space, like a park.
Where they can walk away easily. And But still, people might be having something that, I don't know. And I agree that
we did that one video a couple weeks ago with where the woman was
yelling it out
on an airplane or in an airport.
Oh, yeah.
Those people are trapped. They can't go anywhere. That's a captive audience. You shouldn't be able to espouse.
I know this is a little side tangent then. I mean, they will say that infringes on their freedom of speech. Do you see what I'm saying? This gets messy very quickly.
It does get messy, but if people are saying, we don't want to hear this, shut the fuck up, then shut the fuck up. Don't keep screaming. But you're just putting this and you're disrupting other people's personal space with that.
I mean, you do have the freedom to do that, I guess, but you're going to get the consequences of that. People might not like you very much. They might not like you to be around them.
And that's a good way. It's like saying fire, and people say it's against the law to say fire in a movie theater, a crowded movie theater.
Is it against the law, or is it just frowned upon?
It's tricky.
What if there's a real fire?
You can say it. You can say it all you want,
Mhm.
but if you cause a stampede and people get hurt,
Then
or
that is on you.
you suffer the consequences. You have the freedom to say it, but you have to suffer the consequences for it. If you're in a private space like an airplane, airport, something like that, where people are trapped, and the company or a grocery store or something like this, and the people say, no, don't do that here, you have to concede to the ownership of that area. You're not allowed to, you just can't walk into my house and start doing whatever you want.
Okay. No.
Because it's my private
not
property.
At this point, but a lot of these Christian groups now expand that out to the government, and they're trying to make a law on it so that you can.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. This is where we can't be having this go on, because that's infringing on other people's sensibilities and their privacy.
Their freedoms then get trampled.
Now they have you just you exercise these people to be able to do whatever they want, and you took away freedoms for other people. Now they don't have the freedom to gather in private spaces because these Christians can go in there and do whatever they want.
I'm just saying, as when I was evangelical, some evangelicals would be like, "That's absolutely okay because we have the truth." The religion is so, but certain parts of it are so messed up that's what it causes.
Where they don't see it and they won't agree with it is that if a Mormon came in and did the same thing, if a Muslim came in,
they would definitely. A Mormon could, the language could be coded enough.
They call the FBI out and say this was a terroristic threat. Probably.
Yeah. And that's the interesting thing, because if a Muslim did it,
yeah,
they would be highly offended. If a Muslim did the public prayer,
there was an example of that in the Senate or Congress, one of the two, the House or Senate, where a Muslim went up and said they were doing their morning prayers before the meetings, and it was a Muslim's turn to do it, and she said Muslim prayer, and the next day a Christian came out and was just offended beyond belief.
See, and that's the thing, that this is where Christians will say they're being persecuted. They think so much that this is just their, and it all comes back to this mindset of us versus them. Nobody other than my view is correct.
Yeah.
And if they write what's that saying that says, when you have like privilege and that privilege becomes like, that it starts to feel like you're being oppressed, but you're not. When it starts to equalize, like people who have had power, which is Christian, Christians have had power, not because this was founded on a Christian nation, because it absolutely wasn't. They weren't Christians. They were deists, a lot of them. And some of them probably maybe even agnostic and stuff, but I don't know. I know it's a side tangent, but it just exposes, like, I don't know. There's a difficulty to this with the certain religions. It's very hard.
It's only difficult because of the hypocrisy that they have. Because it's not equal around. But
they don't think it should be, because they think the nation...
I know they do. And that's the hypocrisy. And that's a subject for another day that we can talk about. Oh, maybe soon, because I've had this weighing on me for a little while. Maybe we'll do that on the Candy Conversation.
Maybe.
Just to touch it and then expand on it if we feel like it. But it's that separation that we're talking about that pulls us apart, keeps us, and it elevates us. And that's what we're talking about here with the Christians are now elevated. We have the truth. We have to put it out. But you know what? If you talk to a Muslim, they're going to feel just as passionate and just as validated and just as convicted of we have the truth. Or if you talk to a Buddhist, or if you talk to a Wiccan or a pagan.
Well, and I think maybe not a Buddhist and a Wiccan and a pagan. I think some of them are less. It's these monotheistic religions that are the most
but they're
problematic,
still going to be convicted in what they believe. They may not be as in your face with their beliefs and putting it out.
No. And it's all right that someone has their beliefs and they're firmly in it. I think the problem does come when you think there's no other way to have that connection with.
Yeah, and it's very limited in your belief, because now you've just cut off everything else. You have the truth. You have the answer. Your
curiosity's gone. Certainty's there.
You will not grow from there because you have nothing to learn from anymore.
And that's the way it felt in Christianity to me. It felt like we already knew. We knew how it started, which the planet and why we were here. We knew what we were supposed to do while we were here, which is, get more people to believe and walk the faith. And then we knew how it ended. We knew what the eternity looks like, kind of roughly, So there's a lot of certainty, which certainty is actually the opposite of growth, I think, in a way, because you can't like expand.
Yeah.
So, and anytime some science would come up with something that was a little bit different than the way evangelicals at least thought the earth, like look at young earth creationists, you know, it's like, nope, that can't be like, and they'll bend it so much to the point where they think that light traveled.
So that they have to build a fucking ark and sell tickets to it.
Really? God.
But hey, you know, to each their own.
Mm.
So, yeah, the separation. And then we started last week talking about the fear that comes along with the separation. So we start separating, we start lifting ourselves apart. We're this and these people are this. We're believers, they're unbelievers. We're going to heaven, they're going to hell. We got the right policies and politics and laws to put out. These people want to hurt everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And now,
very black and white.
When you have that,
thinking.
all of a sudden they start spouting out these unsubstantiated fears. Okay. So there's thousands of Nigerians in Minnesota running false daycares. I think they found one.
You mean Somalian?
Somalian, yeah, sorry. No offense to the Nigerians out there. Somalian. But I think in the end, when they did because they had been being investigated beforehand, then they came in and blew this all up, which ruined the investigation they had going on. And if you ask anybody that's in a police force or whatever, when some other group comes in and decides they got to solve it now, it's like you just destroyed.
We've been doing this, waiting
5 years worth of building up of evidence and everything else, and forced our hand on this. Now we have to put this out when it's not complete yet. You just ruined a huge. Well, you know, and these government, federal in this case, the federal government's like, well, we got her. It's like there's one that we can prove, or two, or maybe something.
Wasn't the head person like a white lady?
I can't remember. So. There was so much stuff going on, and they found that it was a lot of other people doing it that weren't.
Yeah, and
African.
I'm sure it's white people.
Yeah.
That taught them the system. Like this is how we.
There's a lot of scams going on all over the place, and it has no race, gender, or creed or anything like that.
No, there's people in all sorts of.
We know Christians that scammed old ladies out of money for gutters.
Okay.
But so they put that fear out there. It's this is the issue. Now, all of a sudden, you have a whole demographic of people thinking that every immigrant's out trying to scam the system. They're trying to steal money for small businesses that they're not running. Yeah. They're trying to.
First, I heard the other day on a podcast that, like Trump's, and it's not just him. It's this political party is doing that, but I don't know if both do this one, but those in power definitely try to do this. It seems like they use fear, and then they make you angry. So they use fear, then you become angry. This is your enemy. Like, be scared of them. Mm-hmm. Now be angry. You want to stop them. You want to get them out of here. You want to do something to them to punish them.
Think back to the election.
Over and over and over again.
They're eating cats and dogs.
No, I remember that one, yeah.
Nope, nothing to it. They're stealing all of our Social Security. Numbers come out and look at it. It's like, it's a very small percentage that are not so, but Medicare. It's a very small percentage that's using Medicare because you can't get into that stuff without a Social Security number. Yeah. It's like, take 2 seconds to think about it, but people get fired up. Then you ask them, they're like, they're dealing all this stuff and they're bankrupting our government. It's like, no, what's bankrupting our government is the fact that these politicians are doing things and paying money to their buddies to get more votes. They're paying money to themselves to put more money in their pocket.
There's too much money involved in it.
And they're siphoning off all this taxpayer money for themselves and their own interest and the people that support them and help them out. That's where it's all going. It's not some guy crossing the border that's coming in to get an ankle looked at because he broke it. Okay. So, $4,000 or $20 million that went in a contract to my buddy over here to fix a reflecting pool or whatever that cost that never got fixed. And the money won't get recouped because it's already spent and out there. You did a horrible job and we didn't. It was a project that wasn't needed, didn't have it. But that's the corruption. We don't want us to look at this, so we're going to give you all these things to be fearful of.
Yeah, yeah.
And Christians do it too. You think about how many times when we were in the faith, it was like, well, this is what atheists believe.
Yeah, never bringing in a true atheist.
We never talked to an atheist.
No.
It was just what
It was just
pastors
like,
and
I've talked to him, or I was an atheist and now I'm not. This is how it's like, bring in an actual atheist today and let him answer our question. That is one of the biggest things that helped with my deconstruction, was watching debates back and forth from the actual people that believe. Like, mine started with someone who believed in a future coming of Jesus and one who believed it was already past. I was listening to their arguments back and forth with each other. But I've done it with many other things. It's a great way of like learning something, but the person's got to be an expert in what they're in. You know, they have to really believe it, which in Christianity, that's not what it was. It's like, here's a person who used to be, but is no longer. Now they're a Christian. Or, you know, I know this about atheists or whatever, and I'll just tell you what they believe and blah, blah, blah. So, which...
So,
they just reinforces your own thinking, your own perspective without helping it expand.
Here in the future, what I want to do is start doing another video on YouTube a week where we're just watching a movie and recount just reactions to movies or stuff like that, or TV shows, and doing a series on a TV or whatever, and just doing it from Christian entertainment. Because it's a prime example. You know, you think of, I can't remember his name, but the old guy that does all the movies.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Kind of a little bit cringy looking.
Yeah. And they always have atheist or something in there, and they just go so over the top stereotypical. I'm going to kill all the babies in the world, or whatever it may be. And it's like
I've never met an atheist that's like that at all.
Yeah. And it's like, okay.
They tend to care about people.
Yeah. More so than some Christians do.
Yeah, way more.
So they put this fear out, and it's unsubstantiated. People don't want to think about it because they've been programmed to be separated, and we're different and better. And now we got this, and it's all it is propaganda. It's just like if you go and look at some of the racist propaganda from World War I and World War II, it's like, oh, this is what all the Japanese people sound like, act like, look like, or this is what all the German people look like and sound like post-World War. And now it was Russians, and here's what they do, and this is what they say. So you have these cartoonish caricatures.
And if you don't ever meet them, you just hold to the stereotype. And you think that is the way they are. Like, if I've never met, or if I've never even been to, let's say, I'm trying to think of a country that there's a lot of stereotypes
one that
around.
would be common to our childhood would be Indian. You think of Simpsons and Apu and that stereotypical convenience store owner type thing. It was jobs that they could get, thrive in, own, run, make their own businesses. They were doing well for themselves, but we turned it into this stereotype and racist thing.
It's just why that happens. I mean, I don't know why that happens.
Because we're built to be, and what we talked about the last 2 weeks.
It's lazy thinking, really.
Well, and what we talked about last 2 weeks, it was survival techniques. I have my group. Our group needs supplies and things to take us, so we have to separate ourselves. So it's easier to go out. And this is why propaganda and wars happens and all that. It's easier to go out and conquer this enemy if we think less of them and we characterize them into this thing. They're not even human. You think back to slavery and what these people were painting the Africans as, and what they were, these savages. Or when we were conquering the West and taking over for the native tribes, here's how they are. And it was just these obscene caricatures of these people, so it dehumanized them. So we do that, so then we feel good about, we're going to hoard all this, all these resources, because we're going to need it for our own survival. And these aren't even humans over here. They're not full humans. They're not as much human as us. And they won't need it all, so we'll take theirs too. And let them live off the scraps if they can, but it'd probably be better if they weren't here anymore, because then we'd get all the resources.
I mean, like, how many times has that happened in history where people have looked at other human beings as not fully human? I mean, it happened with, obviously, enslaved people when it was people from Africa that were being enslaved. They've thought that way about the indigenous people that were here. They didn't treat them like humans, and because they weren't Christian, I guess, partly.
Well, they were savages. They weren't Christian. They were.
I mean, way back before even all that in Rome, you had barbarians, and then you had
your dressed correctly. They were wearing animal clothes, skins, and stuff. And it's like this is what they had. This worked for them for centuries.
Yeah,
and they were fine with it.
And it probably, in some ways, was. I mean, they were honoring the animal by using all of it too, and it's just like I don't know. It was just we've just done it since the beginning of mankind.
They didn't have permanent residences. They had these little, which was false. These
They
things
didn't own the land.
Yeah, they didn't own the land.
They thought it was just the weirdest thing that you could own the land, and really, it is weird because the land is just here. Before we came here, the land was here, and when we're gone, the land will still be here.
Because you think about it, the natives, they could have been as nomadic as they wanted because they had mobile homes.
Yeah,
they could stay in an area for years and then just up and move, which was smart because if you look at some of the modern farming around here and like livestock farming, they have this new thing where what used to be was like, we're going to keep our cattle in here, they're going to graze it, and it just destroys whole areas that they eat everything to the root and no grass grows there anymore. So then they can't grass feed there and they have to go to the next one and destroy that. So what some of the farmers would realize, they look back to what natives were doing. We'll graze over here and then they'll trample it some, which is some of the seed and everything. We're only going to be there for a day or two and then we're going to move the herd over here.
So they've spread out more.
So then this has seed in the ground that grows and replenishes.
Then they bring them back.
And they move them all around. So it's constantly regrowing everything. It's just sustainability. They've learned this by going back in history and seeing how it was done instead of destroy it all, eat it all. We'll just throw some more stuff in there later and grow it back again.
Yeah.
But we're like, well, let's just do it naturally, and this doesn't cost anymore. It's kind of what native people were doing was, okay,
and think how close they were to nature. They paid attention to it. They were not distracted by the screens and stuff that we're distracted
they looked
by
around
today.
Like resources are getting slight here. We have to move around and find some more resources are better. And then they did, and they let that area replenish.
In some ways, I think we are going to go back towards that direction with nature.
We spent a lot of time recapping in the last 2 weeks here. So let's get started in this week. We're going to bring the spirit up. And in this...
So are we talking about how to get out of this kind of thinking or what to do with it?
Kind of. This is going to be a little different on the videos. World Cup's going on. Actually, the finals are today, the day we're recording this. And I think this has been something, this is kind of what sparked this in me to bring this up, was just... it exposed something. And what come of it, I think, is kind of what we can build a solution. So we're going to play this and just react to a few different videos. Probably won't get through all of them, but just want to get through some just to get some reaction from you. Okay. So we will go to this one.
What's different here compared to back home?
Well, I'd say they're more inviting, they're more welcoming back here.
Americans are?
Yeah, I would say certainly are.
Yeah. Why do you say that?
You get a bad press, don't you?
Yeah, is the media misrepresenting how Americans are?
Definitely. Yeah, back home.
Interesting.
100%, yeah.
They're the nicest people in the world. They're so open to like chatting and all that, and like hearing about like our culture and our history and all that kind of stuff. And
that's cool.
They're just really, really nice. Yeah.
It's good to hear, man. That's great to hear. I think a lot of people are going to hear that. They're going to be excited to hear that.
No, definitely.
So before we keep going, the first guy, what did he say? There's bad press. Mm-hmm. So I think from his colors, he might have been Argentinian. Mm. They're the blue and the white stripes like that. Mm-hmm. Could be completely wrong on that, but he was saying bad press. It's dangerous. It's violent. It's scary over here. And then they come over here and they're meeting the people. And then they're like, well, that's nothing like what we're being reported to. So that one was showing this is the separation. This is the fear. But these people immersed themselves in this, went over and confronted their fears and found out this.
They've been the most accommodating people in the world. Like I think the youths love having us here as well, surely as well. Like all these guys in like skirts, as you call them, and like it's just cool to see. Obviously, it's been amazing, mate. The American people are brilliant.
Don't believe a lot of the kind of hype about it being just really unfriendly and stuff. It's how you carry yourself when you're here, and just the fact that there's lots of opportunity and there's lots of ability to like kind of go, lots of great choice and stuff like that.
The ones we've experienced this holiday, unbelievable. We've had such opening arms and we've been so welcomed into the city of Boston that it's hard to sit there and think Americans are bad, because every single person I've met that's American has been unbelievable. They've been so welcoming, they've been so supportive of Scotland.
I came out of the subway at Kenmore, and we were mobbed by all these American kind of young people. I felt like I was John Lennon in 1964. I was like mental. It's like all these people going round going like you're Scottish, and, oh, amazing.
Yeah. What's different here compared to back home?
What's interesting about that is like in their country, they're being told that we're bad or we're evil. It's
Well, they're
scary.
hearing the news reports.
And we are hearing the same things about other countries.
Yeah, I got another one here, but keep going.
You know,
We'll
like
kind of
I'm
address
wondering what countries, like we've been told so many things about, and if we went there,
you
it
don't even have
wouldn't
to go
be.
to countries, go to cities. You remember when my mom was like, "Oh, you don't want to go to Chicago, New York."
Oh, yeah.
And we're like, our kids just went to Chicago.
Yeah, she
by
actually,
themselves.
yeah.
Oldest one was, I think, Cal, and he was 20 at the time. Or no, Matt went too, didn't he?
Matt was
Matt
was maybe 21, 22,
Yeah.
not much older.
So those were your two oldest.
Mm-hmm.
And they're roaming through downtown. That's supposed to be because our youngest son, Bo, he was like, "You were down there? That's a horrible place to be. That's like a war zone." And they're like, "No, we were just walking."
Yeah.
You know, trying to explore.
I mean, obviously, we understand there are dangerous areas, you know, to be in where maybe gangs are. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's just like we're being lied to about a lot of this stuff.
And that's what we talked about the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And this World Cup, I think, has exposed this to a lot of people because the World Cup, Super Bowl is a big thing. It's broadcast nationally, but it's an American sport.
The World Cup is worldwide.
It's bleeding out a little bit, but there's no English team in the NFL. There's no Spanish, no German, no Mexican team in the NFL. They're all American teams.
Mm-hmm.
The World Cup is a representation. It's like the Olympics. This is my country playing. And it's considered by a lot the world's biggest sporting event because so many people are passionate. You get outside of America and soccer is huge in Europe.
I mean, soccer's pretty big here. It's
South
just not
America,
called
Central America.
Same thing, but yeah, it's growing. Here,
Africa is pretty big, I believe. It's getting some in the Asiatic communities, building up there. It's a huge ordeal, a huge thing for all these countries. These people, they're very passionate about it. And it's kind of fun to compare what these people do and how passionate they are. And then they look and they're like, "Oh, you guys got passion for your football team." And they're kind of comparing because they thought, you don't know what passion is for a sporting team. And then they start seeing some of the sporting teams that we have and we're passionate about. And they're like, okay, there's some similarities there. And then we see it for them and what they do. And they're like, okay, wow, you guys are pretty insane too about how you do this, you know? And you saw like the Scots in Boston and everything. They were walking up and down. I can't remember what they call them now. So the army, something army. But they're going up and down the streets of Boston, thousands of them in kilts, blowing bagpipes, just marching around. And Boston loved it and having a great time with them, embraced them.
Good job, Americans.
So, but this kind of exposes both sides of this of, okay, these people had fear coming in, and then they actually went in front of the fear and then saw the truth. And we're like, this is completely different than what we were expecting.
And it's just
what we
like
were told.
us when we came out of Christianity.
Yeah.
Almost every group that we were told to fear, we've gotten around has
We'll
been.
do this one
no.
individual. This is a cute one. But it's kind of similar to that last one.
Sorry, sir.
It makes you teary. Why? Why? Help us understand. Why is it so impactful to you?
Sebastian Krauts never imagined his trip to America would be so emotional.
Yeah. No, you're human. Happy tears.
In just a few weeks being here,
I fall in love with this country, and this was so emotional. I even cried in the stadium.
It's a huge departure from what he was expecting before traveling to follow the German soccer team in its World Cup run.
To be honest, I was a bit scared or had the fear to travel to the United States. News about shootings and criminals and that the country is not safe.
Bob takes us home. It's great. America is great.
Sebastian met a group of strangers who offered him a ride to his hotel.
What is the best city?
Boston.
That's Bob Series and his family, New Englanders who showed a group of Germans that Boston is warmer than some might believe.
Bob, thank you. Love USA.
Enjoy your time in the U.S.
To me, I watched the video by myself maybe 40 times. I had tears in my eyes.
Sebastian was more upset about the prospect of leaving America than Germany being eliminated from the tournament. That kindness he experienced.
Sorry, sir.
It makes you.
So same story there. And this is just an individual's perspective, you know. And I get it. You look at our news, we're just numb to it now. You know, when I watch the Omaha news every morning, it's like, all right, there's a shooting. So I can't get the local news on my TV at work. We don't get cable. Work won't pay for cable in my office, so I got to get a little antenna up top, so I can only get the Omaha station. And it's like, okay, there's a shooting up here in this part of the town tonight.
It's almost all negative.
Yeah, it's almost every day.
Alarming, and they used words like catastrophic,
Yeah.
Extreme. Those words hit you a certain way.
So Omaha, a town of 1 million or something like that. Now, if you go out and you're from a foreign country and you hear these reports coming out of that's one small town in the middle of America, and then you got all these other bigger cities that have higher rates, it's like, wow, they're just, is there even a population left over there? Because there's so many people getting shot and hurt and all this catastrophe going on. And then you come over and he gets the experience like this.
Yeah.
And it's the same story. He met people, he talked to people, and he's like, this is completely different than what I've been told. It's like when we were with the LGBT community. It's like these people have an agenda. They're trying to force you. They're trying to convert you to be gay. And then we started meeting.
Or it would make them seem like they were perverts or something.
I'm thankful for Sophie on that. And Sophie was our editor for the first 10 episodes. And then she had to go out and start having kids, and that ruined everything.
She's my niece. Yeah.
But
she did. She
started
opened us to a world,
She was hanging out with a lot of LGBTQ people. And we're starting to talk, and she'd bring them over to our house because she felt safe to bring them over here. And we were starting to deconstruct at the time. And then we're like, yeah, these people, they're just
like
people.
us.
Yeah, they're fun. They're typical college kids.
They got the same kind of problems and except for they're running around with people calling them names and stuff that, or thinking things about them. Maybe they don't say it, and it's really perpetuated. At least in our case, it was perpetuated by the religion. The culture does some of that too, for sure. But yeah. What are you doing?
Oh, text from work.
So I'm sure that's something that we're going to be touching on is like the biggest way to kind of push back against this is get around the places. Like if you are willing and feel right about it, like go to the people that you have been told are so terrible. Ask them how they, that I've seen on that podcast, the necessary conversation that the mom in that, Mary Lou, I think her name is actually beginning to change on her view of immigration because she's
separated from Fox News because the dad.
Well, no, she's actually had a conversation. Someone was working on her husband who's got some medical issues, and she was not a American citizen, but she had a green card. And she was talking about how difficult it is to go through that whole process. Right, it takes years and years and years and lots of money, and yet here she is giving care to her husband. And she's like, after that, and then also seeing some of the ICE things where they weren't wearing the body cam and the footage that did get picked up by other things of what they were doing. She's like, yeah, they're just outright shooting people now, and it needs to be abolished. But it was just her mind has changed because she's seeing people and hearing from people. Like her kids could have said it so many times, and they did. But once she actually met somebody, that's her mind started to change.
Yeah. And that's the biggest key is when you can break through. And that's why, like we talked about earlier, the bubbles. Remember in Christianity, don't talk to the outside. They're dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
We know people that said,
that's what cults do.
Said to other family members, you're hanging out with a lot of gay people. Do not hang out with them. You're validating their experience. Mm-hmm. Well, that's not the case.
You're making them think what they're doing is okay.
Yeah.
And you need to be telling them when you're with them, they can't be your friends.
Yeah.
You have to be telling them about their sin. And it's just like.
But what was really happening, and I don't know if the person that said that even realized what was really happening, was you're humanizing them, and you're seeing that what we're saying is false about them, that they're just people and they're not trying to force anything.
Yeah, you're going to get what they would call it is like you're being deceived by the devil into like considering them your friend or seeing them in a lighter way or a less harsh way. Mm-hmm. And they don't want that. They're like, no, because then you'll start to like them and then you'll change.
Yeah.
And you will, because you'll grow and you'll be like, oh, they're not so scary. Oh, they're not my enemy. Oh, they're human and loving and they don't deserve to go to hell. I don't care. They don't deserve to go to hell. And if you still think they're going to hell because they don't believe like you, then at least make their life, beautiful and enjoyable while they're here. And that there are probably Christians walking around that do that. They're like, okay, some of these people are going to hell, but they deserve to have a good life while they're here. And so they just keep their religion, it's theirs, right? And they love the people, they enjoy them while they're around them. If that's their own struggle going on inside them, that's fine. Like if that's what you believe, but you don't have to like, shove that at other people so that they have to conform to you. That doesn't teach you how to love either.
That's a good point, which let's go to a little more of a feel-good thing here. I got a few of these types, but we'll only play one. I'll pick this one.
I bought us dinner the other day. We were at Quincy Market, and he was just like, "You're Scottish. Love the fact that you're in the city."
He bought you guys dinner?
Yeah, bought all of our dinners. We went to pay, and the guy was like, "No, it's already been paid for."
Some of my friends just arrived this morning, so they went for a beer this morning. Went up to pay for it. A lady already paid the beer for her. That is friendship.
I was in like a 7-Eleven there, and the police, they were buying like people's food and all that. They were just so nice. Like,
they were.
We don't get that.
Wow.
You would never find that in Scotland.
We've had a few drinks bought free of charge, which is great. We love that.
Everybody's super friendly, really, really helpful because we've been lost a lot.
Okay, so are Americans representing? Is that what you're saying?
100%.
Okay, good.
Absolutely. Everybody's been so kind and so funny and just accommodated our stupidness. And I mean, look, we've taken over your city and you've all just embraced it, and it's just been fantastic.
It's this is just showing the beautiful side.
You've all just
Keep the leading with kindness, be a builder, buildersmovement.org. So this one's kind of an advertisement, but I like that saying there because what we're seeing, and you were saying about, okay, these Christians, just keep your faith to yourself and all that. The thing about Christianity that I've found here more recently, and it's something that's sticking out to me, was just how much.
Do you want to be specific and say evangelical Christianity, like fundamentalist Christianity, or are you talking fully?
Well, yeah, we'll go evangelical on this. And
I like to do that because there are some Christians that are really great people. Like they don't shove it.
It was so much about being forceful with the message. Get out in public. But okay.
Granted, according to an evangelical, if you're not doing that, you're not a good Christian, but I almost like the ones that are.
I'm going to put this up real quick. This is what I'm talking about evangelicalism. Okay.
Okay.
This is our town, the main street down the middle of town, and it's a church we know. This is our youth group marching this down, and this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about evangelicalism in America. It's this forced, in-your-face message. It's putting it out. We know this church. We know
even that is mild to me. I I could handle that. Yeah, because I don't have to interact with them.
We've seen that cross many times.
Yeah, but it's the same. That church is the same one that I used to have. I was tied to, and they would make us go down to campus and yell at people.
This is a mild representation of it, where it's just, but it's in your face, and it's putting it up. This is who we are. It's performative, and it's let me tell you about what I believe in, and it's all this outside, outgoing stuff. And what we're seeing from these videos in the World Cup is it's not going above and beyond yourself and putting out this extreme message. It's simple things of
buying them a drink or giving them directions. Yeah.
Welcome to Boston.
Being welcoming. Yeah. I mean, that is the.
And I saw so many videos
hospitality
over the last, whatever it's been, 2 months that the World Cup's been going on.
Yeah.
Of people like,
with that.
These people are amazing. I've seen people in tears from different countries saying, we can't believe the hospitality. We went into this restaurant, we went to pay the bill, and they're like, oh, don't worry about it. Enjoy our food, spread the message of what we got here. Tell people about it. Post a video. That's better than paying for it.
It makes me think, though, too. I mean, let's think about when we've gone to a state that we're unfamiliar in. We almost always have pleasant experiences where if you're lost or you don't know where you're going, people will. I mean, we've been around. We've been very far south. We've been very far north. We've been east. We've been west. I think Americans. This is something true about Americans. A lot of times we're helpful. They don't necessarily go, where are you from to us? Because we sound like we're from here probably. But it's like I mean, and sometimes they'll ask, like, if you're from what state you're from, but it's just like, I feel like as Americans, ourselves included, like if someone needed help, we'd help them, right? And I think most Americans are like that.
But it was simple stuff.
Yeah.
Bottom of the drink. And some videos I saw was just like, I was shocked because people just smiled at me walking down the street.
Yeah.
They're like, where I'm from, whether it be, France, Spain, Argentina, whatever. And they're like, we don't do that. But people are like, hey, how you doing? And you walk down the street. And they're so friendly.
Yeah.
And all this. And they helped us. They gave us directions. I'd stop one guy and be like, how do I? And it wasn't, where I'm from. If I did that, it would take 20 people before someone actually helped me find where I'm going. First time I'd ask someone, they'd tell me. So there's just the simple little things. But I think in evangelicalism, what was going on was you have this message and you have to go out there and scream it at people. And you have to wear your T-shirts all the time. And you have to have your crosses on all the time. And it's got to be the foremost
Carry
of everything.
your Bible around all the time.
This is your identity.
Quote the Bible at
You
people.
always are talking about Jesus and Christianity and nothing else. And that's so negative. It's counterintuitive what you need to do. What we're finding here is just be a decent person. And people are going to be like, and we're going to see that here in a second of, wow, this is not anything I expect. This is something I want. I saw a lot of videos. I didn't get any of these necessarily where people return back to their home countries and they're like, I miss America. I want to go back. It was so friendly. It was so nice. The food is one thing that's a stereotype. They understand why Americans are so fat now. And we don't get it until we see them. They're like, look at the portions
that's true.
of all this shit. They're like, they're like, everyone was getting to-go bags. They're like, we're not used to eating this much. They go to a barbecue place. And I love going to barbecue places. But it's ridiculous what you get because you order a 3-meat plate and you got all this brisket and sausage and whatever. And it's like, okay, that's a lot of food. And then it's like, oh, it's all gone. But they're like, holy cow. And then the free refills on things. I remember I saw an Italian guy come out of a 7-Eleven or something with a cup like this big.
Oh, gosh.
And he's like, this is a medium. He goes, this could feed my family could drink this for a month.
Okay, that's a little excessive.
They're free refills. Who would want to refill this?
Yeah.
And he's like, but you go back in, you get another refill. He's like, this is unbelievable. So that's a stereotype that's true about what we do here. But it's part of what's around here is we overserve. You go to I remember when I'm growing up, I had a good Italian friends and I'd go over to the real Italian friend's house. His parents ran restaurants and be like, here, we're going to eat. And we'd go over for after football practice for lunch and it would be a full display of everything.
Like a huge dinner.
Yeah. And this is just a lunch for 4 of us or 5 of us.
Wow.
And she's like, eat. It's all got to get gone before I start making dinner. And it's like, holy shit, that's a lot. And we put a huge dent in it.
Yeah.
But that's just, what we're seeing. But it's the simple things that help. It was just being human. And I think that's what we found out in deconstruction was we don't need, and you've told this to people in Christianity that have been trying to push their faith out and say, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I need to put this message out, and I have to preach this, and I have to, and every time I'm out somewhere, I corner people and I hold their attention and I talk to them for 45 minutes straight without giving a breath and just never letting up and not letting anyone else talk. And the message is lost. And they're like, but people are attracted to you. And you're like, I just live my life. I just do what's natural to me. If people want to know what I believe, let them ask, and then I'll tell them.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'm leaving. And I think that's what, if you were to look at the Bible and see what it was these people are just living a life.
Yeah.
And they're living it different that people are like, okay, all right.
I
but
mean,
they weren't.
yeah,
They couldn't be out in the streets evangelizing and preaching and all this because they would have been punished by the Roman government.
Yeah.
It had to be secretive, but people were still gathering in and
people were actually sneaking into those. Nobody sneaks into churches today to check out their freedom. No, it's definitely not. There's not freedom in there. But they were back then. And I think that, us as... I lost my train of thought. It just went away.
Sneaking into churches, us as just living our lives.
Well, yeah, just living it. I think there used to be a phrase I remember in Christianity was like, preach the gospel, if necessary, use words, right? So it was
Yeah.
just kind of
Oh, yeah.
like, just live it. Just be loving to your neighbor, love others as much as you love yourself. But now, and what it got to back when I was in it was type of evangelicalism that I got it. I think it was evangelical Christianity. Fundamentals are like this too. They have to show their devotion to God, because in a way it feels like they're paying God back.
Put this
Go
out
ahead.
on this too, is that with the way this Christian faith has evolved to what it is today, if they just lived it, what do people outside the faith think of Christians by their actions? They're hateful.
Because their idea of living it is the rules. They think Christianity is the rules.
Yeah, so they live these
and
rules.
how they live, and
but-
it's not how they live, how they treat one another. That's what they don't get.
And that's what I'm saying, is that they're like, you don't like these people, you don't like these people, you think they're all, this is how you're living your life. So now they have to go out and be like, no, we have to tell this message. So we have to get ahead of this narrative. We have to change the view of what we are. We can't let our actions speak for ourselves, because our actions are showing us that we're not that great. So we got to put these words out there to dissuade that impression of our actions. I mean, we know people like this. But we have to put that out there so that people don't, and it's a whole thing of, let my words be, no, it's not don't look at what I do. Let's listen to what I say. And that's how they're living it.
It's not like Christians are known by their love.
No.
Actually, it's gotten to the point there ain't no love like Christian hate, right? Or there ain't no hate like Christian love.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, it should be the other way. And there ain't no love like Christian
hate.
There ain't no, what was it? I flipped it around the first time and I was like, actually, that's what you should be known. Like, your love should be so strong that, that's what you should be known by if you're a Christian, because that was Jesus's message. But it got lost somewhere. It has gotten lost, especially with Christian nationalists. They definitely do not. Jesus is the loving message of Jesus of Nazareth is completely lost on them. They do not get that. They want, it is about vengeance. It is about hate. It is about my way. It is about, that's what I mean, my way for everybody, like forcing it on people, so it's very, it's a different, it's almost like we had a different, like I saw Jesus in a different way and I was like, that's not the Jesus I recognize, and so, but it's just interesting to see these Christians. I'm losing my train of thought too. It's going again.
Yeah, we're on an off day recording.
We are, and I'm tired.
It's hot and it's tired, and she had class.
Yeah, let's just explain it all away. Yeah. Maybe
don't watch what we're doing. Just listen to what we're saying.
Yeah, that's it.
So, all right, let's do a couple closing videos to see.
I see that one guy over there. Are we listening to him?
No.
Okay.
No, I just saved that for a rainy day.
I haven't seen him in a while, so that's.
Yeah.
I'm like, ugh.
All right, so this guy looks like our nephew.
I know he does, doesn't he? I was going to say that
This is a message to all of the American people out there that may or may not see this video. I never want you to forget this summer, the summer of 2026. I never want you, the American people, to forget the amazing positive impact that you have had on so many people around the globe. I never want you to forget how amazing you all are. Never want you to forget how your kindness has made people not want to leave this great country this summer. I want you all to remember how you have been so welcoming to so many people from all around the world this summer. I never want you to forget how you have looked out for people and how you have treated people this summer and how you have been so hospitable to everybody this summer. Most importantly, never forget who you guys are. You are the great American people, defined by character, integrity, hope, love, kindness, and support. Please, America, never forget the summer of 2026. This is...
Okay, I love this, and I just had a thought, and I'm just going to share it, and it might not be good.
You're going to leave me for this guy because you think he's hot?
You just said he looked like our nephew, and then oh my God, I couldn't help but see our nephew in his face. That was disturbing. No, what I was going to say is I did notice something, and I don't know if this might be something people might notice too, that this has all been white people.
Mm. A lot of European,
Did people that
I think a lot of it is because my algorithm
only gives you white people?
English speakers.
What are you saying about black?
Well, most
a lot
black
of them
nations,
know. Yeah, but if a lot of them that come over here know English,
and there's been a few coming through, but I think it's the algorithm's going to put more.
I'm just wondering, did they have the same experience?
A lot of them did. I saw a lot of like Argentinians, Mexicans, Brazilians
having the same experience.
Yeah, very similar experience coming through.
That would have been nice to see that variety.
Well, there you go. There's me and my diversity coming through.
But I don't know. That was just something I was wondering. Like, did they have the same experience? Did they? I love hearing those things. Like, I do think that but obviously, I have white skin, and so I have a certain type of experience. Would someone who has darker skin than me be treated the same way? I don't know.
There was I can't remember the team that was in, because the teams got stationed in different cities around America, and there's one from, I can't remember if it was an African nation, might have been Middle Eastern, that was stationed in Kansas City, and they actually were in Lawrence, Kansas, the home of the Jayhawks, and the town converted over and became that nation, basically.
Like cheering them on as like a...
They started making logos. The Kansas University logo started having that national flag in it. Dressed the Jayhawk in its colors. People were dressed in the country's colors. They were walking around supporting them all. And it was a darker skinned country, and I can't remember which one it was. But the people are like, this is amazing. The team was like, wow, we feel like we're at home, and with the support from this community. So there was a lot of them that were embraced with open arms. You saw some of the ones where, like Mexico, wherever hotel they were in, the people were partying, and everyone else outside was like, this is awesome. Yeah. Or if it was Argentina or some of these other countries, the locals gathered around and just joined in the celebrations with them and got involved. So
I'm listening to you tell me what it was like instead of actually showing me real people that experienced it. Just like we talked earlier about the pastors who would say, this is what an atheist.
I don't have that. I'll show you some of the videos.
No, I believe you. I believe you. But it was just kind of like something that popped in my head. But I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take your word at it because I'm not going to fill my algorithm up with this probably. But I do think this is good stuff to hear that Americans...
Because it illustrates the point of what this getting past just hearing all this fear and people trying to separate you from everything else. All these people came here with these expectations of, okay, have your head on a swivel, stay close to your areas, be careful. And then they ended up just flooding the streets and celebrating like they always do because they weren't worried about getting shot or getting mugged or getting harmed or people just taking advantage of them.
They will take that home. It sounds like they've gone home and they're like, they'll spread that around when people say things about America. No, there's great people there. It's not this evil place.
I showed you all the Japanese guys that were over here, a couple of their videos where they were talking about their experience.
Oh, yeah. When they were getting like
the free nachos or the chips and salsa, and they'd get filled up and they'd be like, I had to take my whole meal home because I filled up on chips and nuts.
But it's like, that's good to hear because even in America where we have become so divided, if someone's hurt or if some emergency happens, nobody stops and says, oh, who'd you vote for? Yeah. You just step in and you help because you care. We do care about one another. We need to remember that we care about one another. And it's like now almost, and I'm guilty of this too. If I hear sometimes that somebody voted for a certain particular someone, it can, I have a subconscious program running that is not, it doesn't like that so much. So, like we all have this. This has been programmed into us. It's not to shame anyone, but to go, okay, we've been programmed to think some way about people other than ourselves that are different from us in some way. Yeah. And the solution to that is to get up around those people or hear about them. Yeah. And if you can't get around them, watch them on social media and see, And
I think one thing
not through the media's eyes
was that guy was like, don't forget, don't forget. And it was like, what we can't forget is we were just ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were ourselves and being who we are and saying, hey, I'll buy that drink for you. Yeah, welcome to America. People were like, wow, that's something. So when you're being authentic and being yourself and just being friendly and human, you broke down all these barriers and all these biases and all this stereotypes and created, all right, he's a human. I think about sometimes, I have some Black friends, and usually we don't talk about, well, you're different this way or you're different this way. It's always talking about, oh, did you remember that back in this day? Or, yeah, you remember this?
Yeah.
Once we get going, we just start seeing
realize how similar we are instead of focusing on our tiny differences. Yeah.
And it's like, we don't look at how we're different. We look at how we're the same. And gather on that.
An example of this that you could think of for your own life is like when we have this view of people coming into the country that we think are going to suck from the system, right? Yeah. Like maybe they're coming from a very hard, we have, people escaping, what do they call them? Asylum seekers.
Yeah.
So they're coming from a very scary situation that they're in. Maybe there's war going on or whatever, and they come here for safety. Like, I want to just raise my family here. They come in, and then we are told like they're, stealing from the system. Now imagine you escape. Let's say this place was war torn or whatever, and we escape to another country.
Close.
And we go in there to find safety, and they start spreading these rumors about us. Like we're here because we were trying to find they want a safer place for their family, to raise their family, just like you would look for a safer place to raise your family if it wasn't safe.
And this is propagate more fear. I think Canada's put up a ban from American citizens coming up and trying to claim citizenship.
Why?
Now, this is just spreading rumors and stuff and videos because I want to prove a point that I do it too. But, I mean, it's going to be realistic on, people are going to be like, no, you guys aren't going to escape. We don't want this here because you're a burden. Why? Because everyone thinks this. Everyone else is a burden to our system instead of, how can you benefit? Because I hear all these things about all of these Mexicans are coming into our country and stealing it. And where I work, I have plenty of construction projects that happen periodically throughout where I'm at. And honestly, a lot of times it's Hispanic, Latino people that are doing the main work. And I never thought to myself, well, these guys are cheating from the system. Usually what I thought was, these guys are some insane motherfuckers that are working. We were putting in some turf, and it was in the middle of July. I think these days, some of the days were like 100 degrees out with
humidity.
The dew point was like in the 80s.
Yeah.
So,
just really
they didn't
weather.
stop. They took like a 5-10 minute break in the early afternoon for some water, and then just kept working again.
And they're usually pretty cheery while they're doing it, and they do cover their, they don't wear like
worked. And I was like, holy shit, this is impressive just to see what they will work through, because that's just what their mentality. All right, let's do this. And then when they were done for the day or when they were taking a break, they relaxed. Mm-hmm. Maybe they'd go out and kick the ball around and play some soccer. Maybe they just chill. But they earned that from what they were doing.
Well, they also know that whether they just know there's a time to just relax. And when you relax, fully embrace it. And when you work, fully embrace it. When and what could we learn as white Americans, about that there's a lot of value in that those character traits that some of us have, some of us don't have, and not all Latinos have that trait, right?
Yeah.
That's probably
we're going on a trip here soon. I want to play a game. Every construction site we drive through, I want to see if it's a white guy holding the sign that says slow and stop, or if it's
is it usually a white guy that holds the sign?
Yeah, because all the other guys that work,
they're working. I don't know. I've never paid attention to that. Oh gosh, now I'm paying attention. Now I'm thinking back to the times I've seen that. You might not be wrong.
So
he's like, I'll hold the sign. Yeah, that's what I'll do.
I got sign duty today. So one more video, then we'll conclude today. Another feel-good one.
If you're American and you're watching this, I've got to know one thing. How does it feel? How does it feel that it took one summer and one World Cup to unravel all the country's media outside of America and the narrative it paints? How does it feel? Because I'm a Brit who's travelled America for many years, and I know America is incredible, and I'm feeling amazing. So as an American, you must feel even more amazing. I'm witnessing Brits and Europeans land in America and see America through their own eyes, and it is amazing to see. So as an American experiencing this, you must feel so much euphoria right now. Tell me how you're feeling. Your amazing scenery, your culture, everything is being experienced by thousands of people all at once. As an American, that must feel good. Because I feel it, right? And I'm a Brit, and I travel America, and I love America. So if you're American and you live in America and you're seeing that online, you must feel amazing. It makes me so happy, and it warms my heart that now hundreds of thousands of Brits and Europeans are landing in America. They're forgetting what they've been told in their own country, and they're experiencing it through their own eyes, and they're realising how amazing America is. It must be amazing as an American to witness that, because I feel it. So you must feel it if you're American.
Okay, I another thought came up on this one. Okay, so when we were conservative Christians, right? America, yeah, like you thought we're in the most amazing country, almost like God, ordained us, right? And so this would be like, of course we're amazing. Yes, I'm glad everybody's seeing this. We're such an amazing country, right? But they aren't saying that because of the Christianity in the country. They're saying it because people were hospitable to them, right? And they could have been atheists. They could be, from any other religion other than Christianity too, and Christianity included. It doesn't matter. I don't think that's none of them. I heard them say it's about their Christianity, because they have Christianity in all these other countries too. So I just thought that part is interesting, because we would feel that way. Now, as I have experienced, that's what I experienced as a conservative Christian. And as I pulled away from that and kind of went more left, I think on an extreme side of the left, there's almost this hate for Americans, we're all bad, we're evil. And we had some not great roots. I will agree. We started from some, I think the idea of breaking away from Europe was good, but I think using a group of people to enslave them, to build on the backs of, is not good, and then not paying them when we said we would, right? So there's a lot of problems there that should be told, because we didn't have the greatest start, but a lot of these countries didn't. They had their problems when they started as countries, right? I mean, so I just noticed that they might be because there's almost hate being taught on both extreme sides. There is a hate for,
but that comes from what we talked about the last 2 weeks, that separation and then the fear. And that's the hate that comes out. But also conservative Christians do hate on, they would think it's the Christian, because we're a good Christian, God-fearing country, so we're going to treat people nice. That's how they would view that. No, it had nothing to do with that. And it was there's a lot of people here that don't believe anything about Christianity at all. They totally reject it. And they are some of the nicest, kindest people, because I think deep down, most people are kind and nice, and they want to help other fellow human beings. But that's kind of the key to this whole thing, is when you're forced into this experiment and you're forced to deal with the people that they're out to get me and steal it, and then you just start associating with them and relating to them, it turns everything on its head. And like he was saying, is you just destroyed all these media perceptions in Europe and Britain of this is what America is, because now there's people with
feet on the ground,
on the ground, firsthand experience saying that was bullshit. You guys are very much just exploiting these small stories and just blowing them up beyond belief to making it seem like this is the overwhelming tapestry of America, when it's not. We went over there and we didn't feel in danger. We felt safe. We felt invited. We felt welcomed. It was wonderful. Never once did I worry about anything. And it didn't matter if I was in the South, if I was in the Northeast, if I was in the Midwest, if I was on the West Coast. all the experiences were wonderful on how I felt in these communities. And again, yeah, like you said, nothing had to deal with anything with religion or anything like this. It was just humanity coming together. And I think a big thing here is now you have all this social media that's out there, because we had the World Cup. We might have had it since then, but I remember in like 92, 90, something like that, we had it. Because I remember I was in high school at the time when it was, oh, we got the World Cup here. But you never heard about the reactions of the people from the world coming in, because you didn't have social media. All you had was newspapers and
they could spin it however they wanted.
They could spin it. Now you have people with individual reactions.
And that's the plus side of social media.
TikTok blew up. I wasn't getting any outside of American TikTok feeds for a while. And I used to get a bunch. I'd get like British and German and some Australian and stuff like that, where it was talking about, hey, this is what we're seeing. Here's what we're hearing about your country and what's going on. Is this true? And then all of a sudden, it was probably about a year and a half ago, that really just started tapering off to nothing, which was interesting.
Okay.
So it was only just in American stuff that I was getting fed then.
And then now, well, this is still American stuff.
Well, then all of a sudden this blew up TikTok because all these people came over and were just posting and posting because they're in these stories and they're like, look at this.
But you're probably still getting American stuff because it's these people.
It was, but it was, you were getting American posts on it like, look at all these Scots over here. But then it was also the Scots saying, look at this. This is what I'm getting. So it was a positive spin on America. So they're allowing that through. I think, but it's starting to get this influence from this. Now you get videos like these people that are getting back home talking about, hey.
And do you think you're just seeing these because he's mentioning America?
Yeah.
And do you think we are being blocked from seeing other country stuff? Interesting.
And their viewpoints on it.
Well, and then that way we can't learn how they are over there. Like that maybe they're not as hateful as.
And I didn't even think about it until the World Cup started. Of what do we view? I wonder how Germany, because I was thinking about that for a while because I was getting that feed of, wow, they're having this parade and there's some interesting floats going down the street depicting some of our leaders, okay, and they're talking about the Epstein files and get this
in
out,
other countries and stuff.
In other countries. And then that went away and it just was out of my mind for a while. And then I started seeing more of the European people posting again. I'm like, oh, wait, they're allowing it now because it's pro-America. Huh. And it really kind of opened that up to me on this. But I think the thing is that what he said here that proved a good point was it changed it destroyed, in a lot of people's eyes, these perceptions that have been built up over time of what America was. And I think that can get carried over. We can destroy in deconstruction a lot of these perceptions that Christians have of what's outside the faith by just coming alongside. We can destroy a lot of perceptions of what MAGA thinks about LGBTQ, for immigrants and everything else just by coming alongside and saying, hey,
share your story with us. Yeah.
Let's just get to know each other a little bit. Let's have a beer. Let's have some nachos, some wings, and we'll talk. And break down these walls and start finding the similarities and being hospitable, So, you see some MAGA person walking down the street that's having a bad time or can't find something. Where do you need to go? I don't believe in what you voted in, but where do you need to go?
Yeah, are you lost?
All right, here's how you can get down here. And they'll be like, wait a minute, that was nice. And I did not expect that. I thought these people were all this, this, and this. You just started shattering that belief system.
Yeah, little by little, that's how you do it. If you just live it and be kind to no matter who they are, you don't have to go around, you don't have to see someone wearing a red hat and automatically assume they're a racist, they're a bigot. That doesn't help anything. That's not helping us get out of what we're in. We need to work on the solution rather than being focused on the problem.
Yeah.
Focus on how we are alike. And that will help dissolve those differences that are causing our problem. We don't want to dissolve all our differences because our differences make us beautiful. Yeah. There's a lot of variety, but we do want to dissolve the ones where we are othering ourselves from one another.
And I think it's interesting, and I think it's the universe really just being like, haha, that we have a president that wanted to put himself on center stage. I'm going to host the best World Cup ever. And it did. But no one's given him any of his flowers for getting it here. All the flowers are going to the actual people. It's not, wow, the American government really did a great job here. And all the president just put on a wonderful
because their
show.
experiences are the up close in the restaurants, on the street, kind of. Yeah.
I think it's interesting that FIFA gave him a peace prize while he was bombing a country that country's soccer team was playing over in America, and the Americans were embracing and letting them play here.
Wow.
So there was, I think it's just the universe giving us a blueprint on, all right, at this time in history, with the technology that we have and what's going on in the world and what's happening with leadership throughout the world, saying, here's a blueprint. This is what happens when you guys actually come together and unite. You put on a good event, you have good times, you can see what
you emotionally impact one another in wonderful ways. Yeah.
We're seeing people that are responding in tears of, I can't believe this. I'm more upset that I'm leaving this country than my team got eliminated from the tournament, which is huge with these soccer fans. I mean, they start riots in some countries when their local teams lose, not even their national teams. So it's just a blueprint that's been given to us by the universe at a unique time, which I think the universe saying, here it is. Are you going to take it? Or are you just going to keep marching by this and then go back to the same old shit?
Like, pause in this moment and notice these things, because those little shifts can have huge ripples.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So, and we need to, just like hate can spread, love spreads, you know? And
love's easy to go. And we just saw it through a bunch of videos of just being nice, being kind, looking past whatever is outwardly presented. We looked past accents, the struggle of hearing, you know, or someone that might have been speaking in broken English. We looked past skin color. We looked past jerseys and everything else, religion,
political affiliations.
And just said, hey, welcome.
Yeah.
Let's have a beer.
Yeah.
Come into my restaurant.
Yeah.
No, it's on me.
So we just need to stop believing these people in power that tell us who to hate.
Yeah.
And instead just
who we need to appreciate.
Just love, like just walk around being love and see what
happens
and how you relate to other people, no matter what they look like. I mean, what a beautiful world that would be.
Yeah. So you're walking down the street and you see someone with a red hat. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah. You don't have to like think anything other than that. Don't let your brain just go.
Which means whenever we see someone driving a Cybertruck, we got to stop flipping them off below the dashboard.
Okay, fine, whatever. I mean, that's not hurting them. It makes me feel a little bit superior in the moment. Or seeing them drive by and be like, so like, I don't need to be so obvious.
We see someone with a Bible and a cross. We just, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
How's it going today?
But then also at the same time having the boundaries where if someone were to like corner you and say, you listen, you know, you have to be like, hey, you have your faith, I have mine. You know, and then hey, I don't want to sit down and have a chat with them for very long because they'll do that. Yeah. That's fine.
It's simple of, hey, I'm not interested. I've been down that road. It's not for me, but have a good day anyways.
Yeah.
You know,
still wanting what's best for everybody.
Love it that it's working for you. Just go in peace, love it, and have yourself a good day. Thanks. And then walk, and just continue on in your day. But I mean, that would speak volumes.
And to them too, because I think after coming out of Christianity, some of the people that need to actually witness love the most are people who are stuck in it because they really don't know what it looks like.
Yeah.
To them, everything's very conditional.
Yep.
Even though they will say they are unconditionally loved, they live as though they're trying to pay back.
Yep. So with that being said, we have a blueprint now of how to destroy faith. I'm just kidding. Just how to rebuild the country, reclaim it, and take away from the people that are in power.
How to destroy the idea that there's separation between us. That's what we're saying. Yeah.
That we can come together and build something so much better than what we have already, because we don't have to believe in the fears that are put out there. So with that being said, If you watch this on YouTube, like, subscribe, and follow. 5 stars on any other socials that or not socials, but streamers that you're listening to. And down in the description, dannycan.com. Check us out. Get a hold of us there. Other than that, go in peace and love and serve yourself. And
serve yourself and save.
Serve yourself and save. Broncos.
We're doing a commercial for a local restaurant, apparently.
Yeah. So, all right. We'll talk to y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.